So Cardano and the overall crypto market have had a lot of interesting stuff happen over the last few days that we need to address if you're a crypto investor. First thing is going to be with Bitcoin and the overall market. What we've seen with Bitcoin's price is that it has been able to stay above this $40,000 support over the last couple of days, and we have seen consistently over the last 2 months now an ascending triangle form. You can see that Bitcoin's price has been able to stay above this upward trending blue support line, and this is a good sign. We're seeing higher lows every single correction. So that is a good sign. But with Cardano, we've seen a lot of other things happen. First thing is that Cardano's price has not done too well, broken well below $1 per coin, and a lot of people have been very concerned. But there's a lot of good news to be said about Cardano that a lot of people aren't talking about. First thing with Cardano is going to be that we've seen the overall number of Cardano addresses surpass 3.5 million ADA addresses. And this is a huge milestone for Cardano in its entire ecosystem, and this shows us that even though Cardano's price has been falling, a lot of people are still interested in buying it, and a lot of new people are getting involved. The interesting thing about this data, though, is that only 136,000 wallets are active. So what does this mean? Well, this means that a very small percentage, less than 10% of total Cardano wallets are active, and that means that most people who own Cardano are simply holding the cryptocurrency instead of utilizing it, instead of using it in a number of DEXs, and instead of, using it for NFTs. Most people are simply holding their Cardano. So that's good news, bad news. The good news is that people who are invested are really in it for the long term. Bad news is that people aren't really utilizing the ecosystem as much as you may think. Next thing, though, with Cardano, which is also very interesting for ADA holders, is that we're seeing TVL continue to reach new all-time record highs nearly every single week. We're seeing that Cardano's TVL, total value locked, has recently surpassed $200 million. Right now, it's around $225 million, and vast majority of this has been from Sunday Swap and MinSwap. Over the last few weeks, we have seen that there's been a massive amount of interest in Cardano DEXs because of fast transaction speed, lower costs, and we've seen that Sunday Swap, which at one point had a 90% dominance, now is around 50% because we've seen a lot of people move into other Cardano projects and look towards alternatives to Sunday Swap. So this shows me right now that a lot of people are buying Cardano, a lot of people who own it are simply holding it for long term, and that its ecosystem is continuing to grow, where it's proven by TVL and the number of Cardano wallet addresses. So why is the price dropping as of recently? A lot of this is because of volatility in the market and altcoins really underperforming while Bitcoin has been in this consolidation period. So this shows me long term, we're gearing up for a breakout in Cardano's price, especially since it has been able to stay above that 80 cents per coin support. Next thing I want to talk about is going to be with one of the first global banks to ever enter the Metaverse, and that is that HSBC has officially announced a partnership with Sandbox. They bought some land there, and they're becoming the first ever global bank to enter the Metaverse. We saw JP Morgan buy some land in the Metaverse just a couple weeks ago, but through this partnership, this shows us that many traditional financial institutions, many just retailers are looking more closely at the Metaverse, hiring teams to build in the Metaverse, and this is something that is very exciting. According to the chief marketing officer of HSBC, he says there's great potential in creating new experiences through emerging platforms, and this partnership with Sandbox will enable them to create innovative brand experiences for new and existing customers. And I wouldn't be surprised to see many more companies do the exact same thing. Speaking of companies and people using crypto, we've seen that Ukraine has officially rolled out a bill that has been signed into law and makes crypto legal in the country. Ukrainian president just signed a bill the other day within the last 48 hours to legalize Bitcoin and crypto in the country. And according to the report, it says that they legalized crypto in the country, signed the bill on virtual assets amid all of this, uncertainty with Russia and Ukraine. The law determines specifically the legal status, clarification, ownership, and regulators of virtual assets, as well as setting registration requirements for crypto service providers in the country. So all of this is very exciting. We're seeing that Ukraine has received over $100 million in donations, and now they are actually taking it a step further. They received crypto as donations during all of the tensions between Russia and Ukraine, and now they're saying, well, look, we're going to make it legal as well in the country, and they're putting some sort of regulatory framework for it. Last thing I want to talk about is going to be with Bored Ape Yacht Club, because Bored Ape Yacht Club just released the Ape coin the other day, and this was tied to the Bored Ape NFT ecosystem, and they have a lot of things planned in the future. We have seen that this coin has skyrocketed in value. You can see it's up 709% from its initial launch, but the interesting thing here is that it's still down almost 80% from where the highest point was during the day. So the thing to keep in mind here is that ApeCoin obviously has been very hyped up, ranked 49 in terms of cryptocurrencies, in terms of market cap, about a $2 billion market cap. But the key thing here is that whenever you see ICOs and launches like this that are very hyped, you're always going to see a massive price increase at the very beginning, and then people sell off, take profits. All of these early investors, people who got in before the project launch, selling off their positions, and you always are going to see this sort of correction. So make sure you're careful with this. Obviously, I think it's still a very interesting project. I'm going to hold off on investing in it for a bit, give it a couple weeks to really settle down, because there's a lot of hype around it. But ultimately, Bored Apes and CryptoPunks are the two NFT collections, in my opinion, that are always going to be around. So if you're trying to invest in a coin tied to a project, I'd say ApeCoin is probably the best one out there. So I'm going to give it a couple weeks, let everything settle down a bit. But that's what's really going on in the crypto market as of today. Let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. See ya.